You mentioned you put on the last boxing show before all this happened.
With no
How?
fans, by the way.
Yeah, with no fans. It was closed. It was on Showtime. But how was that experience like doing that?
It was very challenging because, first I want to thank the Grand Casino in Hinckley, Minnesota, for going along with the plan, because it was a sold out event. And then, so obviously the venue, the workers, folks were expecting to make a profit, right? And fans were expecting to go have a good time. And then they decided to let the event go on, but obviously no fans were to be allowed. So I was, didn't know what would happen. Really challenging time, and how challenging it is for the fighters who train for 2 months, who are expecting a check, who, so much pressure on them. So, even though it was stressful, but in a calm and organized way, we dealt with it, and worked closely with the commission and Showtime, and very fortunate that the event went off well, and the fights were incredible, and really, watching the fight, even though there were no fans, it was still okay. It was good. Obviously not as exciting as a sold out crowd, but it was still good.
So based on that experience, do you think that's more or less the way it's going to go if this thing kind of lingers on? Do you think fights should continue going on by the way you guys did it? Like, what do you make of all that?
Well, we showed that it's possible. It's possible for that to be done. I think that, that may be the only event that I know of as a boxer and as a boxing fan that ever happened in those type of circumstances. But then you have to think about the travel. How do you get to an event? And God forbid what happens if you get there and you contract the virus. So there has to be testing. You have to work closely with the commission and with the TV network to make sure that everything is done, in a very organized and professional way. And but we did it, and if that's what we have to do, I'm confident that we can do it again. But so Showbox, for example, those guys are still developing, still young, so it's not a big deal for them not to fight in front of fans. But for somebody like Clarissa, who's a superstar, who would fight at home, and fans would go to that event, and it would be a lifetime experience for them. They could talk about it for decades. That's something that's really tough to deal with. I mean, you have to do what you have to do, but that it's possible that as things come back, they may not come back, in a full way right away. So that may be one of the ways to deal with it. I know that before kind of everything went offline, I've read different promoters, networks talk about doing studio events. And for a minute, I actually thought that our March 28th event may be a studio event, but but things with this disease progressed too quickly.
Yeah, I would have been a stress case, honestly, if I would have been putting on that event, because there's so many variables.
Oh, for sure. Oh, no. The right thing was to cancel it, obviously. But we just have to take it day by day. Canelo was supposed to fight May 3rd. Huge fight, huge event every time he steps into the ring. That's just such a ripple effect from all of this.
And it hits close to home too, because one of your fighters, who I spoke to earlier today, Otto Wallen, though he wasn't tested, he's pretty sure that he got COVID-19. How did you react to that when you learned that he was experiencing symptoms and that his mom had tested positive?
Yeah, so I called him, and I just called him just to check in, see how he was doing. And he told me that his mom was visiting him, and she went back home, and that that he lost a sense of taste and smell. And I was like, oh man, you know. And he's in New York City, so. But thank God that he's a very fit guy, and he also has, you know, he also has a so he got a boot on to deal with the foot injury, and you know, and now he had to deal with this. So, but he seemed to recover quickly, and is back to working out. Um, he's a very strong-minded guy. But yeah, see it, and you would think, you know, so Otto Whalen, world-class athlete, eats well, trains well, super strong immune system, but he still, you know, he still got it. He still got it, and we'll see.
No, yeah. When I read about it and I saw a other interview that he did, I was surprised because yeah, you don't think someone like you mentioned who's strong, young, healthy, and who's an athlete, an elite one at that, could end up getting something like this.
Yeah. So you know, people were saying that only the older generation, older folks are getting affected by this, but you know, every day I see someone in the news that's in critical condition. That's, you know, that's a younger guy. So it seems to be that this disease is really serious and can affect everyone in a terrible way.